Good morning. Thanks everybody for coming in. And Todd will be back in a minute. He looks like he's got to put his shoes on. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Okay, it's just been a real busy morning for me this morning. Took a kid to work. Got a London broil going in the crock pot. Just finished taking all my meds. First sip of coffee for the day. Now I'm going to try and get things going. And nobody's in the group, this chat this morning. So whatever. Hey Harbors, how are you this morning? It's good. Scrunchy Life. Good morning, Deb.
Scrunchy Life. Oh, I need some coffee too. Yeah,
Good. I'm glad you're doing good, Harbors. There's there's the link if anybody wants to come in. You can use a cell phone if you're not available to get to your desktop. Good morning, Mr. Sadie. Lord have mercy. Told Todd I could catch my breath now that the show started. I'm trying to get in the habit of getting dinner going in the crock pot in the morning, so we can have a good meal and not fighting about what are we going to have for dinner tonight. I can just go ahead and say, well, in the crock pot is meatballs, or in the case of today, it's pot roast with potatoes and carrots, and they can eat it or go hungry. I'm getting too old to try to battle with them. So I hope everybody's had a good morning so far. I hope it's not been too cold. Shout out to the crock pot. That's right, lag. Um, I hope it's warming up for you folks up north, because I know last week was a killer. It was cold here too, but it's been in the 60s here during the day, and so hopefully we'll get all that. It's only 3 more months before it starts getting up into the 70s and staying there. Dang, Todd. Do you have to go to Columbia and get those coffee beans? Did you did you have to go to Columbia to get those coffee beans to make that coffee with?
shut up, smartass.
That's what my dad used to say. You know, we'd go. He'd send us on an errand, and he said, "What did you have to do? Go to the plant and wait for them to make it?"
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Cindy. So anyway, how's things going for you today, Todd?
It's okay. Didn't sell very much yesterday. Yep. Sold 4 little things. Eh, I need to make some money. I'm poor.
You poor.
I'm a poor boy.
Listen to you. The rich people are the ones that's always um, complaining about being poor. Good morning, James. Um,
Dang it. I was gonna. Customer asked me a question. So, this is a good question for the show, maybe.
what's that?
I have a piece of equipment. It's kind of a really old diagnostic tool. I don't know what you plug it into. You plug it into some kind of electronics and you test it to see if it works. Anyway, I've got the manual, and there's a customer. He wants me to either scan the manual and make a PDF out of it and sell it on eBay to him, or just make copies of it and sell it. But wouldn't that be a copyrighted piece? I wouldn't be able to.
I think so, because
I guess it'll say in the manual whether it's copyrighted or not.
right.
If it is, I'll just have to tell him no.
Yeah, I would. You can scan it and send him a copy. You can scan it. You can print it out offline and stick it in the box with the product and send it to him. But I think blatantly scanning it and PDF and then selling the PDF, I think that's going to be a copyright infringement. And I'm not talking copyright as in.
I've had that a really long time, and it's a big ass heavy machine. I don't really feel like shipping it, so I'm thinking about just telling him to make me an offer on the listing that's there, and all I'll send him is the manual. And just throw the tester away. I've had it listed for more than 2 years, so.
How much you getting for it?
I don't know. He didn't ask how much.
Well, you got it listed for a certain price, don't you?
Oh. Let me see. I've got it listed for $71.99 plus $32 shipping. Cause this thing is about 25 pounds.
Yeah, I would say no on that, Todd.
Sadie says he's printed manuals and never had a problem. I will print manuals off the internet to include with an item I'm selling, but I'm not specifically selling the
Right.
manual. I'm selling the item.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me too, Deb.
Well, a lot of people do that. They have a device, and just to make it just as an added benefit, they'll go online and take the effort to print out the PDF offline and include it in the sale of the item.
I hope I still have the manual. I've had that thing so long. And the manual was just loose with it, and it's in that. It's been listed so long.
Do people collect? Excuse me. Some of the meds that I take gives me the burps. Ugh. Anyway, do people collect appliance manuals? Because I have stuck. I told my mom she was going to make me rich once she gives me access to all her junk, because she's got a daggum, one of these boxes full of remotes from stuff that she and my dad have had over the years. And she's got all of these owner's manuals. And I have sold stuff, like I sold it was like a Walmart generic microwave manual It wasn't for much. It was like $5, plus shipping. And I was sold those things, and I thought to myself, why in the hell would people buy those?
I don't know. You never know why somebody has a fond memory of something.
I guess.
But a
But dang,
microwave, yeah, I'm like, a microwave? What?
Deb, you need to list those just for the hell of it. Yeah.
Huh. Kitchen crap manuals.
Good morning, Mike. What did Mike posted or said? So what was it he posted?
Now, if it's a high dollar piece of kitchen equipment, I could understand. Like, what's that fancy mixer that everybody KitchenAid?
Yeah.
I bet a KitchenAid mixer manual would sell.
Well, this is, maybe people are buying them and they've got one for sale and they want to include the manual on it. I don't know. It just seems weird that people buy these. And I'm not complaining because that $3, that was the price of a Coca Cola. But you just find stuff like that odd.
Yep.
Oh God, my nose. You buy
I've
manuals?
I've sold a bunch of car manuals,
Yeah,
auto repair manuals and such.
yeah. That's one of the things I kind of look for in at yard sales and stuff like that. Because I guess people that are either like I sold a Gremlin manual for like $100,
Hmm.
and I guess the person I shipped it to, either buys and fixes up Gremlins, or he had one, or you know. Anyway, that's just an FYI. You, I don't have any under cabinet ones. I've never had it. Oh yeah, we did have an under cabinet coffee maker for a while. I wish I had a Gremlin. Or what's that? The bubble car? What's it called? A Pacer. I wish I had one of those because those have gotten to be collectible now.
It's weird
And
because they're not that fancy of a car.
no, you take a Gremlin out on the road, and somebody runs into you with your Toyota. You're gonna tear that Toyota. Yeah, they do. They want anything.
So, Sadie, I signed up for the fixed auto repair plug-in thing, but to get the deal, you had to sign up for the monthly service thing. They say you can cancel at any time. So, does it work without being hooked up with the extra special deal?
I don't know, Mr. Sadie. If you got chance, if you got time, there's the link.
I need the car warranty.
There's your sign. Um, and anybody else, there's the link in the chat. Y'all come in and join the show. You don't have to be purdy. Look at me. I hadn't even shaved.
Yeah, look at me, man. I did wash this morning. Wash my hands this morning.
Uh, I've lost 6 pounds since I've been going to the, according to their scale, since I've been going to therapy.
That's good.
Yeah. I just need to get down to about 180. So I got about 100 pounds to go.
Hmm.
So anyway, I'm taking Ozempic now, which is supposed to help you with weight loss because my sugar levels was just high enough to make qualifies me for my insurance to pay for it because I ain't paying $1,100 a month for it otherwise. That's what
Dang.
the street cost is $1,100. It's all a
Some
rip
guy
off.
in a trench coat on a street corner selling Ozempic opens up his coat and says,
Yeah.
I got you covered right here. Quad
Morning.
aces.
Good morning, Mr. Sadie. Sorry I didn't see you in there because nothing showed up. So
Oh, that's okay then.
Yeah,
But yeah, I was just going to tell.
said he got quad aces on 4 aces on a poker hand yesterday.
Yeah, you don't really need that subscription, Todd. All you need is the the download it in your phone and
The little reader.
and the thing, the reader itself. Yeah.
All right, now
I
I
mean,
got to figure out how to
I
cancel
guess
the
there's some value in
subscription.
having. Yeah, I would just cancel it. I mean, there might be some value in having it, but it gives you all the information you need. It tells you what parts you need if you need to buy parts for it. It even gives you the part numbers, which I don't really use that part. I just want to know what's wrong with the damn thing and be able to clear the code if I need to.
Well, if it'll tell you what's wrong, you should be able to figure out what part it needs.
Yeah, I mean, it actually tells you what parts you need and what part number and all that stuff. It even gives you a ballpark of how much it's going to cost.
Mm.
But I don't know how accurate that end of it is. But yeah, you don't need the subscription. I don't remember having to cancel my subscription. Maybe they changed it where you have to get it and then cancel it. I don't know. But yeah, it's a good neat little tool to have. I'll tell you that.
Well, it sure is easy to get subscribed into 10,000 different.
Oh, I know. I try to be careful about that stuff because you get in these crazy things and it's hard to get out without like calling your bank or something.
Yeah. So Sadie made it all the way to 13th place yesterday, and then he lost in 250th or something like
Yeah, I went crazy. Well, I was on eBay at the same time trying to find front end parts for my truck. I'm putting all new upper and lower control arms on my truck, and so I'm trying to find the parts, and I'm playing, and I got this guy texting me in the background, back and forth, bothering me. I'm just kidding.
oh,
Uh,
oh, you talking about that old bastard from Texas?
that. Yeah, when I'm around, Sadie's got to play distracted.
it's a good time.
I'm messing up his game.
Nah, I
But
love it. I
we
love
both
that.
made about 10 or 12 bucks last night. So
Yeah, I
all
lost a
good.
couple dollars. I went crazy on the buy. I went crazy on the buy-ins.
Oh yeah, you rebought 3 times, or you bought three
Yeah, I
times.
was in for 33, out for 22.
Actually, what did I make? I made $9, something like that.
Yeah, you did okay.
Dang.
Yeah,
So you actually made $9 after your buy-in?
yeah, I made it to like 253rd place or something like that.
Wow.
No, The payouts were like, they went all the way past 300 last night. It was a big tournament.
So how much you make, Mr. Sadie?
I lost about $11 last night.
I mean, you were up to 13th and you ended up losing money.
Yeah, I went crazy, Tom. I just went crazy. Okay, I just went crazy. It happened
Done that
in that
before
game.
and then done real well.
Yeah, I should have walked away. I should have just walked away and not played another hand.
Yeah, I mean he had a big stack of chips.
I had
If he
over
had
$1 million
just
in
quit
chips.
and gone to bed, his hands would have kept playing for him, and he
I know
probably
I
would
didn't
have
have over $1 million.
he
I had
probably would have
250,000.
finished like in 70th place or something if he had just quit.
Can
Yeah,
you
but
can
that's
you
no.
can you just
I'm
stop?
not a quitter.
Can
Yeah,
you
you can
press?
just walk away and let your blinds just go down. Every round costs you like 1.5 blinds, which is whatever they are at the time. Small blind and big blind is what it is.
Okay.
So every round of poker costs you, and the blinds raise after every 12 minutes, I think it is.
Right.
So every round of poker it costs you that much to sit there at the table. But
Yeah. And in the
yeah,
meantime, other
sometimes
players are dropping off because they're losing, So
right.
yeah, if Sadie had just got up and walked away, he probably would have won $70.
How long do these games last?
Oh, if you're gonna go to the final table, you better be ready to give up about 8 hours of your life. That's the big. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Oh, okay. That's
I
the
hear.
big thing about these tournaments. They're really I mean, I enjoy them, and I don't really have a whole lot else going on. We don't have kids at home or anything, so. But they are really a time suck. I mean, for the average person, it probably is too much time, to be honest with you. But you take a guy with no life like myself and Todd, and
Hey, there you go being a smartass again.
Morning, Maggie.
Yesterday you were a smartass, and today you're a smartass.
Well,
I
my
know
dad,
they are
my,
they are a time suck, though.
my dad had a friend that was a Texas Hold'em player, and he played in that big tournament or they used to have in Vegas. I don't know whether they still do or not.
Yeah,
And
they do.
he'd go out there and play for that, and he would play for days, like 8, 10 hour days,
Yep.
and
Oh yeah,
for 2 or 3 days, and then get knocked out. What was it
oh
like?
yeah,
It was like a $10,000 buy-in.
yeah. The
He,
main event's 10,000. It lasts weeks.
yeah, he said his wife said, you know what? Well, and his wife didn't say. He said it's a $10,000 buy-in, and he says I play enough that I stay in comped rooms and have comped food. But my wife thinks that she can go spend the equal amount of money out there that I do. So he said that
Right,
trip will cost me $20,000 plus 10,000 for the
woo,
buy-in and 10,000 for her to shop. Which he says she didn't really spend
right.
$10,000, but she said, "Oh, so you get 10,000 to spend, I get 10,000 to spend."
Yeah, it's funny how they think that works, but
But he won
I'll be
one
right
of the
back.
tournaments he won in. He won like $100,000, which still, when it comes down to tax time, he's showing a loss because he's got all his
oh
buy-ins.
yeah.
You keeping up
Well,
with
there's
all
a
that
lot
stuff?
more. Yeah, like you said, there's a lot more to it than just a win loss at the table. You get comps and things that you have to. A lot of live players that play live, they get a lot of free stuff.
Yeah, and he does.
And if they're and some of those guys are sponsored, they have backing. That they'll wear a patch on their shirt. For a certain company or something, or uh, or they're associated with a certain card room or an online card playing site. So yeah, there's a lot to it at that level. But
Mr. Sadie and Silver Hair Stacker is looking for backers.
we're looking for backers, Lag. Where you at, Lag?
$10.
Ask your mom.
$10 to get your name on a shirt.
Right.
He'll just take a T-shirt and write Queen City Picker on it.
It'd be like Rocky going in the ring with that. What was that meat place he had on the back of his robe?
Yeah. Where he used to practice.
Yeah.
So this is the Picker Poker show in the morning.
Yeah,
But
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I can't help but talk about it. It's just
All right,
something
you
I'm
can only
passionate
talk about reselling so much, and you do, and we won't have any concerns about it until you and Todd start flying off to Vegas and dropping $100,000 in a weekend. Then we'll start having intervention.
Right. I gotta keep all my friends close because when I go broke, poker players normally go broke at once or twice in their life. So, well, resellers do too, kind of.
Glock says send your Venmo to him right away.
Oh yeah, it's on the way, Glock. It's on the way.
But it's you got to have a hobby. If you don't, you get old and life passes you by. And
it's just an interest that it kind of grabbed a hold of me, and I've always loved the game, and I can't talk about it enough, and it's it's probably aggravating and other people probably gets on their nerves, but so I try to be thoughtful about that.
Well, I'm interested in hearing about the poker pickers and the poker pickers.
I should just do it on my channel, and that way I don't have to waste everybody's time on the reselling channel. But
hey, well, we were talking about the drugs that everybody's on a while ago.
It's like when they were talking about shipping them envelopes yesterday. Bridget was saying how she shipped envelope, them coins, and cost her 82 cents or 81 cents. That's when I said I learned something. This show's going to hell. I learned something today.
Yep.
Well, see, that's like Scott's show. Scott has such a intellectual show. He actually talks about reselling and whatnot.
Right.
So, it's a case where you just have to, if you don't like it, go to, move on. That's just it. It's not like we're making money off of this little dick. This is just, when I was working down in Rock Hill, there was a convenience store. It was a local, privately owned convenience store, not like a Circle K or 7-Eleven or anything like that. And they had biscuits and things like that in the morning, and we always the old lady that ran the morning shift. She said the Liars Club is they're all at the doctor this morning because I walked in there one morning and I said, "Man, did you run everybody off?" She says, "No, the Liars Club all had doctor's appointments this morning, so they had to." They can't come in and get their biscuits and biscuits and gravy or biscuits and bacon and their coffee. They had to kind of clean up this morning. But it'd be like a dozen guys in there every morning.
Oh, if me and Todd lived close to each other, we'd probably be the guys at the Hardee's, sitting there.
That's it.
Yeah.
And she said, gossip? God, those old men would gossip worse than any bunch of women I've seen. I thought to myself, wow, they probably give you a good run for your money, but I know a couple of them.
Oh yeah, I know some guys that can gossip with the best of them.
Yeah, and this he does. I was throwing the Scott out there, like a Beetlejuice. Scott. See if he shows up.
I got to drain this fountain this morning. don't know if you can see it, but got a little water in it. So I got a couple pumps out there.
Is that at his house?
Yeah, I'm waiting on the guy. We're having a hot water heater changed this morning. And he's in Florida for a couple months. So
Who's the owner?
yeah, the boss man. So I got to get all this water out so it don't freeze up. Just one of my many talents, draining water.
Do you actually work in his facility any?
Now and then, now and then, yeah. Every now and then, I actually do real work. Actually, I mean, it's hard to believe. I know.
Well, you know, you're
But I've been here for 30 years. I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. I'm blessed to have the job I have. You know?
right.
If I have to work for someone, I mean, the God has blessed me. That's all I can say.
You know, and he just lets you do. You know, he tells you what you need to get done, or you know what you need to get done, and he just leaves you to it.
Yeah.
But he trusts you to to do a good job, and knows that you'll get things done.
John,
Well, I pretty much tell him what we need to get done, and
Okay.
nowadays.
John Jones just said, "You guys realize this is actually Mr. Sadie's house, right?"
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh yeah, this is my house.
Hmm.
No, this is I've showed my house before. This is not my house.
That's like Todd. Todd's always in that little office, and that's just a set. You know, he's got a big
Right.
old 20,000 square foot house down there in Texas.
Yeah, I really decorated this puppy up too. It's so swanky.
The green screen.
There's the hole in the roof the snakes drop out of.
There's the Wi-Fi cable.
The internet cable comes down there. And here's the nice, clean eBay inventory. Yeah. Well, that's organized right there.
Well, you know, your set designer from Hollywood, when he came in to set up your room for you, he did a good job of it.
Here's my bubble wrap dispenser. It's just sitting on the floor on top of a pile of crap.
Right. That's how mine is.
There's my picture taking light that only half of it works. Yeah, that's a bowling ball case up there that won't sell.
And get you a new light, Todd.
Well,
He's too cheap.
I could do.
They're not that expensive, are they? $20 or something?
Yeah, not too bad, I guess.
Everybody send Todd $1 so he can go out and buy him another light because he's down to his last $20.
There's my dirty jeans I took off yesterday before I got on the treadmill over here.
All right, we're all going to join Todd's Patreon.
That's
Help him
right.
out.
Do y'all remember Jim and Tammy, the PTL show?
Yep.
Anybody in the
Oh
group?
yeah.
She used to get on when they were doing fundraising for the PTL and whatnot. Tammy Faye would get on there and she's like, "We're down to our last $50,000." She just cry and carry on.
Yeah. He was the one caught in a hotel room with a hooker, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Swagger.
That was Jimmy Swagger. Jim Baker was the one that was.
Oh, Jim Baker.
Yeah,
was he the one caught in a hotel room, or was it?
He was caught with a hooker somewhere. I don't remember. I don't know where. But
last time I saw Tammy Faye, she had so much makeup on. She looked like it added another 20 pounds to her face.
Tammy Faye always had makeup on.
Oh my God.
We actually surveyed their property when they lived in River Hills.
Oh really?
And she drove up and she walked over to us and was, how you doing? And she was real nice. Okay, she's a nice lady. But she was made up. She was made up.
Well, she always is.
But she'd get on there and she'd cry. That was the thing where all the comedians did things about, their makeup was smudged because they had been crying, and she
Right.
said, "We're down to our last $50,000."
She had the high hair. Always had high hair.
Yeah, Tammy Faye was. I mean, Jim was with his secretary, and Tammy Faye. She died several years ago. She had cancer bad, and there's a show on. I think it's Netflix. The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I figured they were going to just butcher her in that show, but they actually did a good job of it.
Oh, really? I
Yeah,
haven't
they
seen
really
that.
did a good job. Not too far from us is where Heritage USA used to be, which was their resort for PTL. I didn't realize until I was reading an article about it, or an article about amusement parks. But when Heritage was going full blast, because they had this huge water park over there, it was the third. It was the third largest destination for family vacations in America. Disney World and Disneyland was first and second, and then Heritage was third. They just let greed. They just let greed. Pardon my language. Fuck it up, because they had to be making that. They had to be making a lot of money, but they just got carried away,
Oh,
which is the case with
yeah.
anything like that. Um,
Yeah, I'm sure it.
we have to
I'm
keep
sure it's
telling Todd
tempting.
he's got to back off on his spending because he's just getting greedy about buying all the silver and gold.
Mhm.
But it was
That's
I
funny,
got
like.
all of it. Oh, I have all of the silver and gold. Yep.
anyway. Everything's gone over there now. It's a big subdivisions over in Fort Mill, South Carolina. But it's sad, really
Yeah,
is.
I think they. I think they actually. I mean, I think they had good intentions, especially at first. Most
Yeah,
people do.
the Jim and Tammy show, which was a kids show, it had a big following. She was kind of simple, but simple acting. She was very intelligent. Um, but people, it was a good kids program. It was a wholesome kids program, and um, they just got carried away, and then greed got into it. And anyway, what started the whole thing is I'm down to my last $50,000 because now we tell my mom because my mom is tight. She is
Oh
tight.
yeah,
We
is that
tell her
right?
she's borderline being cheapskate, but we tell her we say, "What's wrong? What's wrong, Brittany Lee? You down to your last $50?"
Right. Yeah, I've been watching that movie or that show, Cheapskates. Boy, them people are. Whew, they go over the edge, don't they?
Yeah, they really have some psycho issues there.
Well, I've been watching Steve Alcorn. He's doing that little series on being in debt and what he's doing to try and. And
Right.
he mentioned the other day about canceling XM radio. I said that's where I draw the line, baby. I cannot do without Elvis on the drive into work in the morning. Okay.
Well, I have to listen to bluegrass, but I
Oh, I
like
listen to
XM radio.
bluegrass. I like bluegrass. I like the Comedy Central stations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Good old fashioned country music.
Roberta likes '80s music, so we listen to a lot of '80s music if she's in the car. But I like it because there's no ads. Some of the channels they have, the disc jockey gets in there and he talks a little bit more, yeah, than normal. But normally it's just music with the every once in a while you're listening to XM radio 80s on 8 or whatever. But that's about it.
Yeah, yeah.
An identification thing. Jessica Hahn, that was her. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah. It
I
made her.
remember.
It made her famous. Mr. Sadie's down to his last 500 million. I bet if Mr. Sadie
Yeah.
had $500 million, he'd probably be on a boat in the Caribbean sailfishing or something like that, not sitting in cold ass Missouri.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here. That's for damn sure. I don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing, but I sure probably wouldn't be in Missouri. At least not in the wintertime.
You'd be snowbirding it, huh?
I'd be Sunshine State somewhere.
Yeah, just get you a second home in Australia in some pretty place and spend 6 months down there and then come back the rest of the year.
You know, when I was young in my 20s and I snow skied, I sat down with a map and some brochures, and you could snow ski year round.
Yeah, you could.
There is some place in the world that there's snow. Like after you finish snow
Well,
skiing in North America, you go to South America or Japan or Australia, places like that. And
haven't you ever heard the song at 5 o'clock somewhere? Time
yeah,
there's
my
snow
uncle,
somewhere.
Mm.
when we baled hay, baled hay. I was waiting for Tar to pop in. Uh, um, it would be down in Horry County, which is right outside of Myrtle Beach. During the summer, it'd be so damn hot. And we had started, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, baling hay and loading it and taking it to the barn. And by about 11 o'clock, my uncle was opening up the cooler to get him a cold Michelob out of it. Not a Michelob,
Uh,
Miller, a cold Miller out of it because they were in glass bottles. And he'd say, my mom would say, "Fa, isn't it a little early?" And he'd say, "It's 5 o'clock somewhere."
right,
it's
right.
the afternoon somewhere.
Yeah. I thought you was gonna say he was getting a Mick Ultra out. I said, "Where's Tar at? She gonna bust your chops or bust somebody's chops."
No, we always drank the Miller beers, the full size, and then the little tiny ponies, because those things, when they sat in a cooler on ice all day long, man, those things were so good and so cold. And I'm not a big beer drinker, but I was on those days.
Yeah, I'm not anymore either. Actually, it probably sounds sometimes like I am, but I'm not. I used to drink a lot when I was young, but I drink about once every 3 to 6 months now. I got old.
Well, other than red wine, I'm not supposed to be drinking any alcohol at all.
Well, probably half of us probably aren't supposed to be drinking at any time.
It's all right. I drink enough for both of you, so
Well,
Todd's the big drinker.
I've never been a big beer drinker. I
I'd
was
rather
always
have a shot of whiskey in my Coke than beer,
Well,
really.
I was always, yeah, me too. I was always a rum and coke guy.
I well, you
Anissa, I
need to
know
come.
she can put away beer.
Who's do what?
Anissa.
And this you need to
Well,
come
all
to
them,
North Carolina then to Charlotte because you can start in South Charlotte on South Boulevard and head north into the city, and you will have more craft beer places to stop and sample their wares than you can believe.
I
all them
like
kids,
Coke. It's all right. It's
you
all
gotta drink.
right. It's all right. Cocaine.
I like I like Scotch, no ice, straight up. I like bourbon and ginger ale. I would drink a rum and coke if I had to. Um, those were my man drinks to drink, and then I switch over to the girl drinks. White Russians, Black Russians, uh, brandy Alexanders, that kind of stuff. The expensive drinks.
Hold your pinky out when you're sipping.
No, You don't hold your pinky out. You don't even hold your pinky out
Martini.
with when you drink tea.
Humby. I like this white Russian.
They
Tastes good. Tastes good.
Martini with an olive.
the only reason you hold your pinky out is if you're drinking hot tea out of the cups without any handles on it, and that's because it you got so many nerves in your pinky that you really feel it, the heat. Just saying. There's your little bit of knowledge for the day.
I ain't holding my pinky out, Tom. I ain't doing it.
I don't do it either. I don't do it either. There's no reason to because everything I drink out's
Drawing the
got a
line.
handle on it.
Drawing the line.
Um, Let me tell you what, Lag. You take your cherry Slurpee and pour you some Southern Comfort into it. That makes a drink that'll make you kiss your grandma, even if you have to pick her up to do it.
Oh Lord.
I'll tell you what. And this you will be
I'm so
70 years old when you get the last one out of the damn house. You got to stop that stuff. You know what causes those little critters?
well, we all know why she drinks. She's got 90 kids running around. You got to do something.
You got them young teenagers.
Look, I'm so poor. I got to wear a shirt with paint all over it to work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're liable to get more paint on it today. You know, you never know what you're going to be
I
doing.
might. I might pick up a paintbrush. It's early. You never know. I might just get crazy, Tom.
Now your truck that you got to put your trunk you got to put the front end on. Is that your
Get down to
truck?
the bottom of that fountain and just be sludge water down in the bottom.
Hush.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's my truck, Tom. I need upper and lower control arms, ball joints. It needs a lot. I put it off for a long time. Probably not even safe to drive, but you know,
You
I'm
don't
an
have
idiot.
you don't have inspections in Missouri.
Oh yeah, we do, but I know people.
That's when one of them people you drive up and you walk into his office and they hand you the piece of paper and your sticker and say,
Right. Here's 100 later.
here's your money, here's your money, and you walk out the door and
Here's
you get
I
your own
mean,
sticker. Because it used to, South Carolina doesn't even have inspections anymore. They used to, and they'd put a sticker up in the front windshield that your car had been inspected.
Yeah, we still do that.
And
see my windshield. My windshield's cracked from there all the way. Keeps going all the way, all the way, just short of the other side.
I think you need to you need to skip a few days of poker, and you need to call Safe Life and let them come out there, or Safe Light, whatever it's called, and put your windshield
I
in.
did. This windshield was good for 3 days, and then I got it again. I said, you know what? I'm just going to drive it. I mean, I'll roll with it. Let's forget you can't hurt me. Let's just go. If I got to drive a truck with a broken windshield, that's what I'll do the rest of my life. Every time I get a new one, it gets cracked. This one was 3 days.
The worst thing about
I
a
mean,
cracked
300.
windshield is when the sun hits that crack the right way and it just glares right in your eyes.
Yeah, it does suck. It does. But I mean, a guy gets tired of dishing out 300 every 5 minutes.
Yeah, and these trucks that are going down the road, they say stay back 150 feet or whatever. We're not responsible for broken windshields. Actually, they are, because it was
Yeah,
tried. It was tried in South Carolina, and they lost. If anything comes off of your vehicle, you're responsible for it. Like the ones that carrying gravel and that kind of stuff. I'm not talking about if you pick up a
right.
stone off the road in the tread of your tires, but
I should get a sign that says I'm not responsible for whipping a guy's ass. That has a sign that says he's not responsible for breaking my windshield.
that's right.
I try to avoid them trucks. It doesn't matter. It'll come from somewhere across the other side of the highway or something.
You
This
know,
one was bad. It sounded like a gun going off.
Hi,
the
Anna.
worst gravel comes out of those trucks that have the netting cover on them.
Yeah.
It's supposed to keep that stuff in, but it doesn't work. They throwing crap everywhere.
Yeah, it don't work. No, it don't work.
The case of
That
that was tried down
that or
in
an empty.
the case that was tried in South Carolina. The guy, they messed with the wrong guy because he was some old pawpaw, but his son was a physicist at the University of South Carolina, and he got in there and he had all these charts and figures with the fact that you got two vehicles going down I-26 at 70 miles an hour and a gravel, and he had weighed a bunch of gravel to find that, to get an average weight. And he did the calculations about how fast that thing was going to bounce when it came off that truck at 70 miles an hour, and the fact that this other car is coming along at 70 miles an hour. And you know, he
Yeah,
just baffled them with bullshit's what he did. But he made a
right.
point that you're responsible for anything that comes off your truck.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, it was a dump truck.
And the ones coming from the other side of the highway are the worst because it's like a
Yeah.
head-on collision. They're going 70, 80, and you're going 70, 80. It's like a bullet that's going 160 mile an hour stopping.
Yeah, I bet he does. Um, Anissa, about throwing a rock.
Well, I know you're technically responsible here because I was driving. I put a hood through somebody's windshield one time,
A
and I had to
hood?
pay for their. Yeah, I was driving a Ford Windstar minivan, and I had just put a head gaskets in the thing, and I just had the hood kind of sitting on there, and I didn't have it all the way back together. So I'm driving down the highway, and the whole hood just flew off flew off the thing. This, this this poor lady right behind me, she's driving her husband's brand spanking new pickup truck. I mean, this thing was right off the showroom floor, went right through the windshield.
Yeah.
Luck, Luckily, it didn't kill the poor lady or anything. She was all crying, upset, and can't blame her. I mean, I just put a freaking hood through your car, lady.
Okay, we do not encourage or anything else for doing crazy stuff. You know,
Hey, I
take
said
it
I
as
was
three
sorry.
old men talking. Your grandpas.
Right.
I bet you freaked out about that.
I felt worse for the lady because it was her husband's brand new truck, and I just
I,
knew how he.
I'm talking about the fact that that thing could have decapitated her or something like that. I bet you till you
Oh,
got back
oh,
there,
it could, yeah.
till you got back there and saw she was alive. You were like, oh my god, I'm going to jail.
I was
Yeah, it was bad.
I was
It was
moving
bad.
here
I felt
like
terrible.
16 years ago and pulling a trailer with a bunch of our stuff on it, and I looked back in the rearview mirror and the vacuum cleaner fell off the back of the trailer and just smashed into me. I just kept going. I didn't even stop.
You know what? I did the same thing with a canoe one time. I had a canoe strapped to the top of my truck,
Oh
and I
no.
had it upside down, and the wind got a hold. It looked like a freaking parasail just taking off up into the sky. And it was an old wooden one. I found it in an alley, and I didn't have nothing to tie it down with, but I wanted to take it home, so I thought, well, maybe it'll be all right. It's just a few miles. No, it wasn't all right. I mean, it looked like a bomb going off in Iraq or something. I mean, it was bad.
You
Luckily, there
see,
was no other car. It was a Sunday. There was no other cars on the highway, and I mean, this thing just exploded wood everywhere.
memes
Yeah,
on
I think.
Facebook where the people are going down the road with like everybody's got their hands sticking out the window holding a mattress down on the car.
Oh yeah,
That is not a joke. I have seen so many people doing that and plywood and everything else here in North
hey,
Carolina.
Oh,
that was me. That was me back in the day. I mean, you got to do what you got to do, Tom.
you should have seen some of the places we tied when I worked at Home Depot, we tied Christmas trees on top of all kinds of vehicles, and there'd be like a little,
$150,000 Jaguar.
yeah, there'd be like a little bitty Volkswagen Bug with like a 10-foot Christmas tree hanging off the front and back, and we had it tied down with uh,
Yeah,
Home Depot twine.
as long as it's got a red flag on it.
My son works at Goodwill, and he's in the receiving, like when you drop off stuff and when you buy stuff, he helps. He and some other guys help you get it in your car and whatnot. This woman came. He said this woman wanted them to tie a chest of drawers to the top of her Mercedes. Don't you got some ropes or something
Oh,
you can
yeah.
tie down? And his boss
That's
said
crazy.
it goes inside, it goes in the trunk. If it doesn't go in either one of those places, we don't have anything to do with it. Because Sergey said this woman was buying a sofa and she was driving like a I can't remember what he said it was, but it was like a little 2-seater sports car. It wasn't a Mercedes, and it wasn't like a Ferrari or anything like that. It was one of the, domestic little convertibles. And they're
Yeah,
like,
like a Chrysler.
yeah, they were like, ma'am, there's no place to put that thing in this car. This car is not big enough.
Right.
I think people lose their minds sometime about they want to
Oh,
buy.
I've seen some crazy stuff. Yeah.
Because my thought is,
Yeah,
it's better
people.
to go spend $20 or whatever it costs to rent a truck for a couple of, U-Haul for a couple of hours,
Well, if a
and
guy
haul
was
that
smart
stuff
and he just really.
then, you know, something you end up spending $20,000 or more because something came off your car and destroyed somebody's car or hurt somebody.
Right. If a guy was smart and he needed money and he had a pickup truck, he would just camp out outside one of these Goodwills or a furniture store or something, and just solicit, freaking deliver stuff for. I mean, he'd probably make a good money.
Yeah. I used to have some stuff at a flea market, and there was a lot of furniture sellers there, and there were guys there that had just pickup trucks. They'd come in there and sit down at one of the little cafe they had in there and drink coffee and BS. And you wanted to buy a dresser or a bed or something, $25 they'd haul it within a certain mile.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one guy's made a bunch of money.
Yeah, there's good money in that stuff.
John, our Goodwills suck around here. They have
Ours do too.
they have a place that they send all the electronics to. They do put some electronics out, but they're crap. But all the good electronics go to this one store that handles it. They also have a big online presence. So they have, anything they have people that sit there and they scan stuff and they check prices on eBay and if it's going for a certain amount of money, then they ship it to this online store place.
One time, Lag left his cell phone on top of his mom's car.
So it's really, good morning, Jim and Tara. It's really, if I'm looking for something like I need a 4-drawer file cabinet. And Sergey's
Stop talking about them. There they are, Tom.
Do what?
Stop talking about them. There they are, Jim and Tara.
No, we
Stop
won't talk about them anymore. That damn Jim. Man. We'd have to have
I'd love to hang out with him, man.
Yeah, we're going to have a meeting of the mind before we take a road trip with him. Because I tell you what.
Oh, I love it.
Tara says he don't stop. Right after about 8 hours of driving, I'm ready to find a dadgum hotel. I'm not talking about the Ritz-Carlton. I'm talking about an Econo Lodge, or, something cheap, just someplace you can kind of take a shower and rest a little while. Not Jim. Sleep in the back seat.
Let's roll.
Yeah, let's roll. I'm not a damn trucker. Even truckers have to stop for a while after 8
Right.
hours. But
Pee in a cup, something.
hey man, when I was a little kid, many a time, or a Pepsi bottle.
Yeah.
My
I could
kids would
never pee
die.
in a Coke bottle. The neck was so small,
Shut up.
I'd get it all over me.
Good morning, Glenn. Jay, Todd. Todd's and welcome to the Liars Club.
Gwen, Gwen just yelled, "Too much information."
Yeah. They she's behind the picture up here, someplace up here, and Nissa and Deb were talking about some med they're on that tears her stomach up and everything else. This is
Yeah.
anything that goes, you know. Just don't say nothing bad about people that you can be we can be sued for, but otherwise it's anything goes. Kind of avoid the politics a little bit anymore since they're really hammering channels about it. Try to keep the profanity down because they're hammering channels about that too, which I'm not monetized, so I'm not
I've
really.
never been. I mean, I've got to be really in a mood I try not to curse much anymore. I used to back in the day, but once you have 6 granddaughters, kind of puts life into perspective as far as cursing and all that.
Oh, hang
Yeah.
on, hang on.
Uh-oh. All right, I
Uh-oh.
got to go now.
Jim says his won't fit in a Pepsi bottle. Honestly, to God, Jim, we drive. When we drive straight through. But Jim always yells at me because he'll be like, "I have to go to the bathroom." I'm like, "Okay, well, here we'll pull over, like up the road a little bit." He's like, "No, I need to pee now. We're gonna pull over now." It's like this huge fight all the time.
My mom and my grandmother were in my dad's. Well, my dad had sold it to my grandmother. He bought a '64 Charger. It was the one that's a hatchback. It didn't look like the Duke voice when it was older than that. But
Right.
anyway, I'm in this Charger with my grandmother who's driving and my mom in the front seat. And I told them I had to go, and they're like, "Well, we won't stop." But I don't know if you remember, they used to sell those little plastic. They were like a pint juice bottle with a foil. The cap was about the size of a $50. You peel off the tin
That was
foil.
like a barrel.
Yeah, it was like Kool-Aid or
Oh,
something
yeah.
in there. It wasn't very good, but they were cheap or whatever. So I got one of these things where you peel the foil off one of them bottles. I go, well, just pee in that bottle. Well, I get to go and trying to go. I remember the thing had tinfoil on it, started cutting the little Jim. I'm like, this tinfoil scratching me. So I'm like, I don't like that or whatever. Well, you can't stop. You can't say whoa in a horse race. So I'm peeing all over the back seat of the car. I'm peeing on the ceiling. I got it's going wild weasel all over the
Fire was out of
all
control.
over what's now Grandma's Charger. And she's got this one. This is one of those old ladies got plastic all over the furniture. So she's like a real, German neat freak or whatever. Just shampoo that car for a week.
Oh.
Anyway, after that, they just pull over and let me go to the bathroom.
It's Presley traded in. She had to trade her car in after Jim took a leak in her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was out of control.
My dad, we'd say I got to go to the bathroom. He'd pull over the side of the road and say, "Go."
I'll pull over to the side of gravel. I'll pull over on his shoulder. I just open up the door, and just stand, we have the door open, but you're facing it, so they can't. I figure if you're going to be that nosy and you can spot it, well, you should have been minding your own business. Because I'm not going to get kidney failure or something because I can't go to a bathroom.
No.
Yeah, we had police pull up on us one time. We were going fishing to Mark Twain Lake, me and my brother-in-law, and he had to go number 2, and he had to go bad. So I pulled a boat and trailer, and I was driving like a Mercury Marquis at the time or something. I pull over the side of the road. He's out of the side of the road doing his thing. Cop pulls up behind the spotlight right on, right on. He comes, it's hard to imagine, but he comes kind of back towards the truck, trying to pull his pants up, hopping along. And the cop comes up and he says, "What's going on?" I said, "Well, he had to go, man. He wasn't gonna go in my car. I can tell you that."
Yeah.
So
it was an emergency.
He let us go, but it was just one of many embarrassing moments.
That's country people. Country people don't have a problem with that. It's these damn city people that
Well, they don't have a problem with it either. You see, like the homeless people in California, they poop on the
Okay.
planters on the sidewalk. Just
Yeah.
This is
saying.
a family show. We don't want to be talking about the whole.
I said,
We're not a family show.
I said poop. I didn't say a naughty word.
The naughty word.
Yeah.
We're way past the naughty word on this show. But it just it, my Sergey was
It ain't like it used to be.
Sergey was about 2, 3, and he was down at his cousin's house or my brother's house, and he said he had to go pee. And my nephew, who is about 8, 9 years older than he is, he said, "Well, go there behind the tree and pee." And Sergey thought that was a hoot, you know. It was like he just got a brand new car. I pee behind a tree outside. You don't do that
Right.
in the city.
Right.
When nature calls, Vanessa, that's right. But you got all those girls. Well, I mean, you got one boy, don't you? And then you got one boy and 4 girls.
Oh, Tom said an F bomb earlier. Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I'll
we
tell
got it
you.
on video.
I'll tell you a Brandon story, and not to make us look bad. So a couple weeks ago, Brandon got a lunchtime detention. Okay. Comes out of the school, comes to the car, he goes, "Did school call you today?" Well, we weren't home. I'm like, "No." He goes, "Well, I got a lunchtime detention. You know, what are you going to do, ground me?" I'm like, "All right, well, what happened?" So, kid, football players, another football player walks in the class. He's got a candy cane. He holds the candy cane in front of his pants, in front of his fly, and say, "Hey, Brandon, lick my candy cane." Teacher's not in there or
no.
anything. Brandon goes to him. He goes, "Well, your mom was licking my candy cane last night." This dumb kid, this other kid turns around and says, "Oh, Brandon says something sexual harassment to me." Goes and tells him what's said. They get called up to the office. Kid's like, "Don't worry, Brandon. Let me do the talking. I'll get you out." Which Brandon's like Solo Man 9000. Then he's like, "No, I'm on my own." Goes in there, tells the exact truth. He doesn't lie. Says exactly what happens. The guy's like, "Well, you don't. This is the first time you've ever been written up. You don't get in trouble. You know, how do you think the girls felt in the classroom? You know, when you said that?" He goes, "Okay, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't really think of that. You know." And then the principal's like, I know you guys are football players, and that's kind of how football players talk. I'm thinking, God dang it, football players always get a pass on this kind of stuff. So anyway, the other kid, who's the one who initiated it, who went and tattled, got like in-school suspension because he's one that gets repeatedly written up and in trouble.
Oh, I bet.
And I'm
Sounds
kind of
like
like,
it. Yeah.
what kind of dummy? No offense. What kind of dummy goes and tells the teacher who wasn't even in the room when they initiated the thing? Anyway,
Right.
I'm like, no, you won't get grounded, but you shouldn't talk like that. Anyway,
And last night he fell asleep
Yeah.
drooling on the Bible.
he
We,
reads the Bible. Our son reads the Bible every night before school, before he goes to bed. Now, I'm not like making fun of it. I think it's great. He has a good moral compass in that, and I'm glad he has the Lord in his life. But I don't know where he got it, because that was never me and Jim. Not that we don't believe in God, but every night before he goes to bed, his bookmark is $1 bill, and he reads so much of the Bible every night before he goes to bed.
I could
Yeah,
see him
that's-
slumped over in the chair. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with the way he's sitting? It looks like he just fell out of a window or something, landed on the ground. He's like laying there funny. I'm like, he's sound asleep. And he's got one of these big old, like it's a Catholic church Bible is what it is, one of those big Bibles. He's got his face down in it. I'm like, wake up. He picks up his head. I see the little puddle on the page. I'm like, you're drooling on your Bible. He's like, what? I wasn't asleep. I'm like, get your ass to bed.
I
Tari,
think
you were
that's
talking
great.
about the football players getting away with everything. When I was in high school, I was in the band, and we'd have pep rallies, which was always in the middle of the day. So we'd do the pep rally, and then they would dismiss everybody to go back to class. Well, I had a history teacher after that, and she was a really good history teacher. But if the members of the band that was in her class came in after the tardy bell rung, she would write us up. The football
Yeah.
players could come in 10 minutes before the class was over, and she'd just tell them sit down.
I know, isn't that? I mean, when he told me the principal said that, well, we know you guys are football players, you know, and you do locker room talk. It's like they get this like free pass to be apes or something.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Um,
Right.
so this happened one
Well,
time, and there was 3 other band members in her class at the same time, and we all got tardies because we had to put up our equipment and make sure everything was organized out of the gym because gym was starting. They had a class, and so we were, our band director did not let us lollygag around, but it just took time, and we were late. So this one time, these guys came in about 30 minutes after the tardy bell, and she just told them to sit down because they were football players, and that pissed me off. And I held up my hand. I said, I need to get to the office. And she said, why? And I said, I need to talk to Mr. Foster, our principal. And she said, about what? And I said, because you didn't write them a tardy, and they just coming in here now, and we were just a couple of minutes late, and you wrote us up a tardy. She said, yeah, they're football players. I said, I need a pass to go to the principal, or I'm just going to the principal. You can pick your choice. And I said, and if you don't give me a pass and I go up there, I'm going to get into a bunch of trouble. I'm going to have to call my father. My father's going to come down here, and he is going to raise hell at you and Mr. Foster, and you don't want that to happen. So she wrote me a pass, and I went up there and talked to Mr. All 3 of us went up there and talked to Mr. Foster, and told him what was going on, and we were all getting ready to have discussions with our parents about it. And she said, he said, I'll take care of it. Well, the next time we had a pep rally, which was the following week, he made a point of saying everybody needs, or at the end of the pep rally, everybody that does not have a responsibility, that they need to go to class. So we were a couple of minutes late past the tardy bell, and she said, have a seat. But the football players were already in there. So he must have had a discussion with them because Mr. Foster was a great principal. He's one of these.
And did the football players, when they looked at you, Tom, were they like punching their hand, like, "Oh yeah,
no,
later on,
because
boy"?
half of them's father owed my father money because they hadn't been able to pay their survey bills. So this was
see you in the playground at 3 o'clock,
so
Tom.
they knew that I would blow their cover in a skinny minute, and then I would take it up with my dad. And see, that was kind of tough, and I've mentioned that before. All these rich kids at high school, they're talking about they're going to Hilton Head for a week and blah blah blah. And in my mind, I'm thinking if your dad would pay my dad the money they owe because business is bad, we could go to Hilton Head, or hell, we could go to wherever we wanted to go. And but I could never say that because my dad would have had a damn fit. And
Right.
but like I said, they knew.
Yeah.
They knew. I knew what the situation was going on because some of them, my dad had liens against some of their property. So they didn't really harass me too much.
But you got there, Todd, some micro.
I was gonna say those
or
micro machines.
Yeah, I got a lot of micro machines I need to get listed. So
I got a bunch of Star Wars. I mean,
I'm
Star
locking
Trek.
them up. I think I'll do 7 at a time. I got so much crap to list.
I had an auction a few months ago, and it was just one of these where I bought, like, sometimes these online auctions here, they'll have, buy the table full. And I'll be like, oh, there's a couple things. They're all right. I'll take a gamble, and I'll get it for, like, let's say 10 to 20 bucks. And I got a whole little box full of stompers. And actually, I did pretty good with those.
That's right. I'm a tattletale. When you do me wrong, I'm going to send you to the chair. That's all there is to it. But I was talking about my principal. He was one of these people. He was one of these principals that didn't get parents involved unless it was really a caustic situation. Like 2 boys got into a fight in the hallway, and they were slamming each other against the lockers, fighting and all this kind of stuff. And Mr. Foster, he just walked up and he said, "When you boys get done, see me in my office." And they immediately stopped and followed him to his office. And then he dealt with this, whatever it was. There was no paperwork. There was none of that BS. You might see him, doing some manual labor around the
Oh, they're
school
in
during
here.
during the day, but
Oh, yeah.
there was no calling your parents in or calling the law in and all this kind of stuff. Two girls, the best thing that ever happened when I was in high school. These two African American young ladies. I was in a study hall here, and they had a lot of glass here, and then the student parking lot was out here, and down here was this big green area. And these two girls got into a fight, and they were scratching and ripping each other's clothes off and pulling their hair off. Pulling their hair,
Jesus.
and so everybody from study hall is standing there looking at them. And there's a group of people ganging up around them. They
I was
were,
concerned where that story was going, Tom.
they were really going at it. I mean, worse than any bunch of boys fighting. And Mr. Foster, Mr. Foster walked up, and he always would cross his arms like this, and he'd say, "I need to see you two young ladies in my office." So they gathered up their crap and followed him to the office. Never heard anything about it. There was nothing in the local newspapers or on the TV or any of that kind of stuff. It was just like he dealt with it. They did the crime. He made them do the time, and that was it. And that's why everybody liked Mr. Foster. He didn't get everybody in. You could get into a little bit of trouble, and he didn't have a. He didn't get the police and the parents and everybody involved in it. Now, if it was a bad situation, then he would get parents involved in it, but. Nowadays you have the least little bit of problem. Like Jim and I've talked about before. Boys would come to school with gun racks in the back of their pickup trucks and shotguns up in the window. No, that was just a thing then.
You,
Oh, yeah.
right.
But nowadays it's everything is
Oh,
like
yeah,
my
everybody
poor
had a
babies.
knife.
My poor babies. You know, y'all did my babies wrong. I got a friend that's a school teacher, and he said if corporal punishment was still allowed, he said I would have to buy my paddles by the gross. He said, and there's some of these kids that would have no buts, because he said there's just no respect and no.
When you started to tell that story, I was concerned where you was going with that, Tom. You
Oh,
said
them girls were them. Let me tell
one
you
of my
what.
one of my greatest high school experiences, and there was two girls, and I'm like, whoa, it's your channel.
Oh
But whoa.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were stealing that from a Jim Penthouse letter.
I just thought that was, you know, little things like that. I was a good kid in high school. I didn't get into trouble. Well, not really, but occasionally I.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between not getting in trouble and being good at not getting caught.
Yeah. Well, it was
Right.
the man thing and that kind of crap. I'd get into some trouble, but things like that. But I think I've told the story before. A friend of mine is a high school coach. He's the head coach for the high school, and his wife is the girls' basketball coach. And there's a small school district in South Carolina, so she's just considered part time. She comes in and coaches the girls' basketball team. She hurt her leg. She pulled a bunch of ligaments in her leg, so she couldn't coach the girls' basketball team. So because he's head coach, he filled in for her with the assistant coach was a full time employee, and she would go and do the locker room stuff, So he didn't have to go in there. He said he was so glad when his wife came back to work, because he said those girls on that basketball team were vicious. He said they would fight and talk crap to the other team and just carry on. He said his boys, they bow up at each other and all that kind of flex at each other, but they don't do all this pushing and shoving But he said he was so glad when he got finished with that, because it was kind of scary. He's scared those girls were going to jump on him. So Todd, you're going to get $7 for a lot. I mean, $12 for a lot of 7 plus shipping.
Well, that's what I'm listing them for. I don't know if it'll bring that much or not.
1987. God, that's old.
Honestly, don't some micro machines do pretty good? I mean, I haven't looked at them in a while, but I think I sold some a while back.
I did a little comparison comping, but
Oh, compilation.
yeah, they're not. I'm not getting rich. Like Lag says, that's
Tell them about that giant silver necklace.
Oh yeah, I did pick up a giant silver necklace for like $3. I got on an
Cool.
online auction. I forgot the auction was ending.
And they
And
said
it
it was sterling. They called it a sterling silver.
No, I haven't looked at it real close. It's got a stone on it though, like a pendant with a stone.
How many grams is it? Like 17 grams or
Yeah,
something?
something like that. Should probably
Mr.
crash.
Sadie, you going to use a siphoning hose to empty that pool?
How many are you putting in a lot?
7.
Well, geez, February 7th, which is today, there were 17 of them that sold for $26, and one of them is that jet. Didn't I see you have jet in your thing?
Yeah, but it's beat up and a wheel's gone off of it.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, we're watching Mr. Sadie do his job. Is it?
There's a lot of 23 that sold for $44.
Today.
Mr. Sadie, are you using a pump to empty that thing, or you got a siphoning hose?
Pump. Sub pump. I got in there. 2 of them.
Oh, that'll do it.
It's if you should have just.
There's a lot of 10 that sold for 26, Todd. I'm not sure you're not underpricing them, or at least run them at auction.
Oh yeah, might do.
Certain ones that are rare too.
I mean, $10 is $10. I mean, if I was walking across the parking lot and saw a $10 bill laying on the ground, I'd bend over and pick it up.
No, it's the new 5.
Oh, it's in face down. Just leave it lay.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's face down. Leave it lay.
If I see a penny laying on the ground, I'll pick it up. I don't care whether it's heads up or tails up. I still pick it up. The only bad luck is not picking up that penny. Those pennies add up after a while.
Hey, my camera's here. I guess I gotta go.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because it's been an hour and 23 minutes. I
Yeah,
need to get out of here.
it's almost time for Tom to shut it down. Todd, too many.
Any last thoughts, anybody? Any bits of wisdom?
Don't piss in Grandma's car.
Yeah.
That's the words of wisdom for today.
Dang.
And I think that car was like, actually, I think it was like a 66.5 or something. It was a half number, too. It was the first year I had the Dodge Charger.
Man,
Anyway, my dad loved that car. I'm not sure why he sold it to my grandma, but he did.
Sadie's got the whole driveway blocked.
Oh yeah.
He's having to back up. Look.
Look at that.
I like the
hey,
gate.
Mr. Sadie, you got a crack in your windshield.
He's gonna back into the fountain.
Yeah. And then have to fix it before his boss gets home.
Look out, my uncle's a cab driver. He always used to tell me, I drove more miles backwards than you have forward.
Fix your windshield. You're gonna get a ticket.
Not in Missouri.
I know I need to. I had fixed it and it lasted 3 days, Tara. That's it. I'm not buying another $300 windshield.
Well, you have Jim come over to
60
Missouri.
bucks.
Go get a $60 junkyard windshield, and Jim will help you put it in. Me and Jim argue while we're putting the windshield in.
Kid at Harbor Freight, and you gotta make sure you get that $20. The caulk ain't cheap. It's like $20 for the urea.
But
caulk.
but cheap ass Jim went with a manual caulk gun. Buy the power caulk gun because it's really hard to
Yeah,
push
that
out.
urea caulk is really hard to push.
Yeah.
But it,
He was crying like a little girl while he was trying to do it.
okay.
I put him in before, but
Dang.
He's yelling at me and crying.
She's harsh.
So it keeps
I'm
you
gonna
young.
have to go give my wife a kiss and say, I love you.
You should.
You're nice to
I
me.
don't cry if there's bones sticking out.
I hear you. All right. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you. I guess Scott will be Scott's.
Scott's
Uh,
tomorrow.
it shows tomorrow. I guess me again on Thursday. Todrick on Friday, and then y'all have the weekend off.
There you go. You can regroup,
Yep.
recover.
So have a great day. We will see you over on Scott's show tomorrow. Bye.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you, Todd. Thank
Bye.
you, Jim Matara. Thank you, Mr. Sadie.
Bye.